So, separated until the veil was torn. Let's put the puzzle together. In the Old Testament, a person, which was a high priest, could only enter the Holy of Holies once a year. Now, what's the Holy of Holies? The Holy of Holies was the place in the temple or the tabernacle in which God's presence would be there. There you would see the glory of God. But only one person could enter once a year in order to offer sacrifices for sin or offering for sin on behalf of the people. But here's the thing, that person himself, the high priest, had to be pure and clean too, ceremonially pure. Because if not, to be in the presence of God would be to be killed on the spot. Now, this place was separated by a veil, a curtain, and they say it was even 4 inches thick. Now, what was in front was called the holy place and the most holy place. And so in order to enter that place again, you'd have to go through the curtain. Now, why is that significant? Because that was the only way that you could draw near to God, truly to be in His presence. Now, fast forward. We have Jesus here. Jesus is the Son of God who comes into the world to save sinners. And He says Himself on the cross. Now, let me read it to you in Matthew chapter 27, verses 50 to 51. When Jesus is being crucified, at the moment that He's going to die, He says this. And Jesus cried out, and again with a loud voice yielded up His spirit. And behold, the curtain of the temple was torn in two from top to bottom. Now, why is this significant? Because the temple was a means to go into God's presence. But remember in John 14:6, Jesus says, I am the way, I am the truth, I am the life. No one comes to the Father but through me. So how is this interesting and how is it connected? The veil or the curtain separated people from God because of their sin. So the veil pointed to Jesus, the true veil. And the veil was the only way to go into God's presence. But now Jesus Himself opened up the way to come to the Father. And so that's why in Hebrews we see that Jesus Himself, through His death, allows people now to go into His presence. And as the study says, you can now draw near to God in confidence because of what Jesus did. No longer separated by the veil. The veil is torn.